Those details. School has started, and for some seniors that means thinking about college, but oftentimes it can be hard to find the right fit. So here to tell us more about doing that off the bat, we have the publisher of Potential Magazine, Pam Mashburn, here to tell us. You wanted to start out by telling, you want to get in on the joke, the National Tell a Joke Day.
I want to be a part of that, and it goes with my segment. Okay, so Tanya,
yes,
how many college students does it take to change a light bulb?
I don't know. How many?
Well, it only takes one, but it might take them more than 4 years to do it. I know. It's cheesy. But it kind of goes
They liked it.
I know. Well, it kind of goes with what we're talking about, which is...
It's a tough crowd.
It is a tough crowd. Yeah. So, but you know, college tours are really important. And if you don't find your right fit, it's going to take you more than 4 years to get through school.
Yes. And a lot of people, it takes them that long because they just don't have an idea of what they're getting into. So the more you can find out ahead of time, the better, okay? So you don't want to be that one person that it takes 4 years for them to
Or my son who wants to take 8. I said,
my goodness.
Can't do it. But you know what? What we found is that 37% of students switch schools at least once. So if you're one of those ones, there's a good chance it's going to take you longer than 4 years.
Okay, so why is it so important that you find that right fit?
Right, because, well, the biggest reason is because freshman scholarships are the largest amount of scholarships that you can get, and that's usually given from the college or the school itself.
Okay.
So if you switch schools, you would go in as not a freshman, and you wouldn't be eligible for those scholarships, and you would have given up that scholarship.
All of that money.
That's right. And it's a lot of money. So you want to make sure you find the right fit. So we're talking about campus tours. In our new magazine, there's an article about taking campus tours. If you're a senior or have a senior right now, you should be taking campus tours. And I always tell people, talk to your advisor, your counselor at school, and find out how many days you can be excused. As a junior, you might be excused 1, but as a senior, you're usually excused 1 to 3 days.
And that's so you can take one of these college tours.
Right.
Do you have to have some kind of proof that you've been to a college if you do that?
And usually the school will give you proof afterwards. And, and here's a tip. At some of those colleges, if they give you that, they'll also give you a code so that when you apply for the school, you don't have to pay an application fee.
How about that?
So you want to ask that. But when you go, you don't want to go on a Saturday. You don't want to go on game day. You want to go during the week. You want to go see what are the students...
A typical day.
A typical day. You know, what are the students, are they going to be like me? You're going to want to look at the housing. You're going to want, and that's another reason why, even though you may want to go in the summer, I always say go during the school year.
Okay, and you say you don't need to go out there and just wander around campus.
That's
you really do need to make an appointment and have someone take you around, right?
Right, and they have scheduled tours that you can take, and that's good, because usually there's a golf cart involved, and so you're not having to walk so much. I like that.
And they know where they're going.
And they do, and they're going to put on their best face. So that, but when you go for lunch, start talking to people that are there. If you know some kids that are in especially if it's somewhere out of town, talk to some kids that are going there and say, hey, I want to meet you for coffee and see what you like about it, and hear what they're having to say about it.
Right, and you say sit in on a lecture. You actually want them to sit in on a class.
I think it's a good idea.
Yeah.
And here's the reason. A lot of kids go, I want to go to Alabama or Auburn, which are great schools.
Wonderful
But those
schools.
Freshman classes can have 200 people in them.
Yeah.
And you may go in there and go, ooh, not for me.
Yeah, so you need to find that out ahead of time, whatever you can. It says, see if you can meet up with someone from your hometown that's already there.
So especially if you're going to be staying the night, so they can maybe take you out and show you around and introduce you to people.
Yeah, so because that's a big part of your freshman year and being new on campus is meeting new people and figuring out where to go and where people hang out, what's the best place to study or the best place for resources. So all these people who have already been there and done that, they can help you
And you'll
with
know
that.
whether you feel like you fit in or not. And that's usually what happens is kids get there and they go, it's too far away from home. I'm homesick, there's nobody here, there's nothing to do, there's nobody to hang out with. That's usually a big reason why people switch.
Did you make the right choice the first time?
I did.
All the way through? I did not.
You didn't?
I did not. I started out at another school, wonderful school here in our area, Tuskegee University.
Oh, yeah, great.
But yeah, it just wasn't the right fit for me, and I ended up at Troy, thank goodness.
Both great schools.
So both
That's
wonderful
right.
schools, but one just kind of felt right for me and the other one not quite.
Do you think that if you had taken more tours, you would have figured that out?
Absolutely. I just figured I didn't want to go to school close to home since I'm from Troy. I wanted to go anywhere but Troy.
I see.
And then I went there and realized that that's where I should have been all along. So it ended up working out. Very important, too, before I let you go, you say after your visit and you've learned all these things and met all these people, you need to follow up.
Right, and that is really important because a lot of these scholarships are given because of what they call demonstrated interest. So if the counselor at the college remembers you, and by writing a little note, even if it's an email, it will set you apart. And when something comes up and they say, hey, do you know what, we have an extra scholarship. Well, by the way, I just met someone. Let me recommend them. So you want to do that follow-up. It's really important.
Yeah, you want to stand out, and that's hard to do with so many kids applying to college. We held this up a little bit earlier, but I'll do it again to show you the brand new cover of Potential magazine.
Gorgeous.
This is the brand new issue. Yeah, there's some good-looking kids there. And this article about what we were just talking about is here, along with several others.
And the one about demonstrated interest, there's actually a little bit more in there about that, and that's a really important thing. We'll talk about it on another week, though,
All right,
for sure.
sounds good. And if you can't find the hard copy because they do go fast, how can they find you online?
PotentialMagazine.com.
All right, thank you so much
Okay,
for being here.
thanks so
Good to
much,
see you.
Tanya.